Yes, I believe in God,
but
I believe that God is within the individual. I do not believe that God is apart from man. I do not believe that God is a big man in the sky. I believe that God is the big man within me and you and you. God is the big man within everyone, not a big man in the sky. I am God appearing as me. And this is true of everyone. I teach this to everyone. You are God appearing as you. And in the one God,
I don't even have a beard.
in the one God, every man is God of his own experience. I'm not anybody else's God, and nobody else is your God. But in the one God, which is really consciousness or self-awareness, every man is God of his own experience. But you see, this is another thing. People do not like to accept self-responsibility. People like to have a convenient devil that they can blame when they are lazy and don't do what they could do for themselves. People like to have a devil that they can blame when they don't live up to the best that they could live up to, and when they do things that they shouldn't do, so that they can say, as Flip Wilson says, the devil made me do it. And it is said also that the devil was seen sitting outside of the church crying his heart out one day, down on the curbstone, and just weeping and wailing. And so finally somebody went out and said, devil, why are you crying like that? He said, those people in that church, he said, everything that goes wrong, they put it on me. And it only goes to show you that human nature says that, well, I got to have a scapegoat. But in this philosophy, there is no scapegoat. It's you.
I don't think hell exists. I happen to believe in life after death, but I don't think it's got a thing to do with reward and punishment. Religion is always in the control business, and that's something people don't really understand. It's in the guilt-producing control business. And if you have heaven as a place where you're rewarded for your goodness and hell as a place where you're punished for your evil, then you sort of have control of the population. And so they create this fiery place, which has quite literally scared the hell out of a lot of people throughout Christian history. Mm-hmm. And it's part of a control tactic.
But wait a minute, you're saying that hell, the idea of a place under the earth or somewhere where you're tormented for an eternity, is actually an invention of the church?
I think the church fired its furnaces hotter than anybody else. The church doesn't like for people to grow up because you can't control grown-ups. That's why we talk about being born again. When you're born again, you're still a child. The people don't need to be born again. They need to grow up. They need to accept their responsibility for themselves and the world. The idea that the truth of God can be bound in any human system, by any human creed, by any human book, is almost beyond imagination for me. I mean, God is not a Christian. God is not a Jew or a Muslim or a Hindu or a Buddhist. All of those are human systems which human beings have created to try to help us walk into the mystery of God. I honor my tradition. I walk through my tradition. But I don't believe my tradition defines God. I think it only points me to God. Life is a startling and wondrous experience. And eventually I think we're going to discover that God is unfolding through the life of our consciousness and our self-consciousness and is not a parent figure up